Hello everyone, this is the thejonnymar, and welcome to a new project coming to my channel. In this series, I am going to be playing this wonderful game that I have played on many different platforms. And that is, as you can see, Stardew Valley. So this is a farming sim game in the vein of Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons, with some elements of Rune Factory as well. And it is the game that got me into that genre. So this was the first farming sim game I've ever really played, and since then I've kind of gone off and tried out some of the other games in different series such as Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons, although I haven't quite gotten into Rune Factory yet. Maybe someday. So I played this game quite a bit on, again, various different platforms such as the PS4, the Xbox, my PC, and of course the Switch as well. And I'll be playing the Xbox version for this particular playthrough. Now, unlike what you might expect, I'm not going to be doing a traditional playthrough of this game. Instead, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a challenge run for this particular video series. And that is to play what some might call an evil playthrough, but I consider it to be an opportunistic playthrough as a Joja Operative. So we're going to be doing some various things that I'll get into with this particular run. But before we do that, we need to create our character. Now there are some settings here that were added in later patches of the game that allow you to change up your experiences while playing the game. So from the vanilla experience, you can change up the rewards, how to complete bundles, and various other aspects of the game difficulty. Now, I'm not going to change any of these settings for this particular playthrough, and unfortunately we're not going to be playing multiplayer either. But in the future, if I do come back and do more of a traditional run of this game, I will consider doing that. But instead we're just going to deal with our basic settings here. So we are a male character, since this is a virtual embodiment of me, although not in terms of my personality. And we're going to name our character after myself as well, and that is Johnny. Now in terms of our farm name, we're not going to be subtle at all. Our farm name as a Joja Operative is going to be Joja Farm. And the reason that is the case is because our favorite thing is money, but more specifically, it is wealth. Now we could enter some other things to get some hidden messages that most people know about, such as entering Concerned Ape will give you a special message, but we're going to go with wealth. Now in terms of our animal preference, I am a dog person. And in terms of the three options for dogs, they're all okay, but we're going to go with the third option. I believe that is the cutest dog, although they are all good dogs. And then I'm not going to really change much about my character in terms of their skin color or hair or anything like that. The only thing I'm going to do is change their colors a little bit. And so I'm going to change not the hair color. I didn't see how much that changed, but we'll drop it down a little bit. But I want to change the pants color to make it a little bit more in line with what Joja's colors are. Which is hard to tell, but maybe that's closer, I don't know. I think Joja has more of a sky blue, so sure. I think we can eventually get Joja related clothing, I'm not sure, in this game. If not, well, it should be in this game. We certainly will be utilizing other Joja merchandise. And then in terms of our farm that we're going to select for our starting position, we can go with the standard farm, which is the basic experience. I often like the Riverland farm, just because I do like to fish in this game. That won't be highlighted as much in this series, but I will be doing some occasional fishing. And I also like the forest farm, because it gives you access to a lot of stuff that ends up being helpful in the long run, related to foraging. Now you also can do the hilltop farm, which gives you access to mining opportunities, but I find that they just don't respawn quick enough for it to be worthwhile. And I'm not a huge fan of the combat system, so the wilderness farm is not really for me. The Four Corners farm is for multiplayer, which again I'm not doing, so not really an option for this particular run. And then the beach farm is actually pretty fun to play. But it does have one major disadvantage, and that is that you cannot use sprinklers, which are very important if you want to cut down on your energy use. So we're going to use the forest farm, because it is my favorite starting farm. So all of that looks about right. So we are going to watch the intro to kind of see the background of our character here, and then we'll get into kind of what is going to be different about this particular playthrough versus what a more traditional playthrough would look like. So we have the memeable grandpa here on his deathbed, who is going to give us a sealed envelope, but not tell us what it is. Thank you. I would also like your sword and your little plushie back there, if that's okay. He doesn't want us to open it, he just wants us to listen as his hand twitches involuntarily. It kind of reminds me of The Lord of the Rings, the scene with Legolas and Gimli. He's moving because my axe is lodged into his nervous system. But he talks about reaching a point where we essentially get bored with life, feel crushed by our responsibilities, and then we should open the letter to find out what's inside. And here we are at our job, working at Joja. Join us. Thrive. So these are not our character. We're going to scroll across to find him. Everyone's having a great time. You can tell we're having a great time as well. Especially the person all the way to the right. They're having the best time of us all. Not sure what we're doing here. Underneath the desk, I don't want to know. That's for him to do on his own personal time. Now the game wants us to open up our drawer here. I want to play with the computer, not open this letter. Maybe we can find Minesweeper or maybe some solitaire. But we are forced to open this envelope. I mean, I'm okay. It's more that I was curious about what was in this envelope. So he talks about losing connections with people in life and nature. So he moved away to a place that he felt truly like he belonged to. Now this is pretty common in terms of most Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons startings. The main character kind of ends up moving to a farm because they get tired of the rat race of living in a city or general responsibilities of adulthood. And so they decide to take on an easier life, I guess? Or perhaps a more noble life in the sense of these games. And so he is going to give us a farm. And he says to also say hi to Lewis if he's still alive. Well, I mean, he's probably not. We don't know how long it's been. But if you knew him and were friends with him, he was probably as old as you, so he's probably dead. Sorry, Grandpa. So we'll have to do that. Oh. Okay. Well, we really shouldn't keep him waiting. Let's go. To the boss. You're welcome. Glad to be here. What is it you want to talk about? And what is that task? I am? And what am I going to do there? Visit? Say hi to people? Oh, I need to talk with Morris. Okay, I can do that. Well, thank you for visiting with me. I guess I will head to Stardew then. So we're on a bus, and we're heading to the valley. Stardew Valley, and specifically Pelican Town. Wonder how long of a bus ride it was from our corporate job. Probably at least a couple hours, right? Out into the middle of nowhere. So So is anyone going to greet us here and tell us what we're doing? Ah, yes. We have someone saying hello. It's Robin. Hello, Robin. You are the local carpenter. Nice to meet you. Oh, so Mayor Lewis is still around. That's nice. You're going to take us to our farm. Can I grab these things that are on the ground right next to me? These flowers? No. Okay. Well, hopefully they'll still be there. So this is my farm? Nice. Looks like it's been taken care of quite well. Actually, we're going to have a lot of work to do to get this place into shape. Yeah, there is some good soil. Now, unfortunately, with this particular land plot, a lot of that soil can't be used to grow crops. But that's fine. There's enough for my purposes. There's a lot of wood in the house there to the left, although it's a little beat up. It's a nice house. I'll take a free house, especially in today's market. And there's Lewis. Hello, Lewis. Nice tie. I'm not really a tie person myself. I'll wear them when I need to, but I'm not going to go out of my way to put one on. Yeah, I would imagine. That tends to be the case in more rural areas. Yep. I'm gonna move in here and start taking care of this place. That's the plan. Oh, sorry, I skipped that pretty quick. He called it rustic. Robin finds that funny, apparently. Crusty? What about crustic? Would that be okay? I'm sure there is someone who can improve the place. Ah, yes. So her. That tends to be par for the course in these games. But that will take a lot of money to get to that point where that comes into play. Yeah, we have a lot of work to get to tomorrow. We have a lot of cleaning to do, and then he is suggesting we introduce ourselves to everybody. So like usual, we're probably not going to get to do anything on this first day. We're just going to have to go to sleep, and then we will start on day 2. And then he will pick up anything we put in the box overnight. So at least there's no time limit on that. Some games in the Harvest Moon series, you have to put stuff in by a certain time to get them taken for that particular day. Otherwise, it won't get picked up until the next day, and so on and so forth. But we're going to go to sleep. I'm not sure where that rooster is cawing from, since we don't have a rooster. But we're going to deal with the settings here, and I will meet you back here. Alright, so I changed some of the settings to my liking. We're going to check out the TV here, see what the weather is going to be like, and check out a few of the other options. And then I'm going to start cleaning out my farm and talk a little bit about what I'm going to be doing in this series. So we're going to have a sunny day tomorrow, which means lots of watering in our near future. We have a fortune teller who will tell us about the RNG luck. So everyone's pretty happy today, so that's good, I guess. And then we have Living Off the Land, which is your introductory tips on what to do from this old farmer guy on the screen. So chop wood and search for forage. Will do, as we're waiting for our first harvest. We're going to turn on the fire, and we will get our first seeds. That's nice, we don't have to buy any. I mean, we will be buying some at the store today, but we get 15 to start with. So as I start walking around and cleaning out my farm, let's talk a little bit about what I'm going to be doing in this Let's Play. So we will be starting off as a farmer, planting stuff. That is going to be my main source of income, is going to be crops. I'm not really going to be tending to animals, simply because animals are a very large investment, and it takes a while for them to start producing in terms of money, value, profit to you. So we're going to be doing crops for the most part, and then fishing and mining as well. We have our basic tools here. I'll move them around to make them a little bit more convenient for myself. And what is the purpose of this playthrough? Well, we are going to be doing, as I have mentioned previously, we're going to be a Joja Operative, which means we are going to be completing all of the Joja community development projects. So we are not going to be doing the community center bundles. Rather, we are going to be paying for a Joja membership, and we are going to be paying off all of those projects. So my goal is to do 1 year in this game and to finish off all of the Joja projects. If I can, I will go for the movie theater, but that's pretty expensive, so I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to go for that. I'll try, but there's no guarantees, and that's not going to be an official part of this challenge run. But as part of that, I'm also not going to be shopping at Pierre's at all, because I am a Joja Operative. So what that means is I'm going to basically be buying everything from the Joja Mart. Now at first that's going to be a problem because it's actually more expensive at the Joja Mart to buy stuff like seeds. But once you get a membership, it actually drops the prices down to essentially the same as Pierre's. And they're actually a little bit cheaper on a few of the items, including one particular item that is going to be helpful to me, which is sunflowers. So the second goal of my challenge run is to get married during my first year and get my spouse up to max heart level, which I believe is 14 hearts or 12. One or the other. I think it's 14. I also want to get to the bottom of the regular mines. I won't guarantee that I'm going to do much in the skull mines, but we'll see as we progress. And so those are my 3 main goals for this series. Get to the bottom of the mines, get married, and max out my spouse's heart level. And then finish off all of the Joja community development projects. So after cleaning up our little plot here, we were looking for grass that we used our scythe on, and that gives you a chance to pick up wild seeds, which are certainly helpful in the early parts. Whoa, had a little bit of a fast forward there, I guess. This game can be a little bit hiccupy at times. But we're going to plant all of our parsnips. We're going to water them. We're actually going to go buy as many more parsnips as we can. And then we're going to go foraging. And we're also going to introduce ourselves to as many people as we come across during this first day. Now we want to get 50 wood to be able to make a chest, because we obviously do not have a lot of inventory space, and so we want to be able to store stuff away so that we don't have to carry everything around with us. And I'm also going to start building up my future spouse. Now many of you might know or suspect who my spouse might be given my parameters of this challenge run. The person that is the easiest in the game to max out as quickly as possible. Simply because one of their liked items, which increases their affinity very fast, is an easily forageable item during spring. And so we will see them, and I will give them their first gift of this week once we see them today. But we have our first chest, we planted our parsnips, we've cleaned out our first area here, and now we are going to head into town. So we're going to see if we can find any forage. Those 2 items are still there, including the ever-important daffodil, which we're going to be making use of as a gift item with that person that we're going to be wooing, so to speak. And we're getting pretty lucky with daffodils. Unfortunately, they're all normal quality. I like to see at least a few silver or maybe even a gold quality, if possible. Just because those lead to a little bit of a faster affinity boost with the person we want to woo. Now you can dig around in the trash to sometimes find items, but it does affect kind of how other people perceive you. And although I'm not really concerned about my heart level with most of the people in this game except the person I'm gonna end up marrying, I don't necessarily want to irritate people. Our goal is to ingratiate ourselves into the people of this town. Hello there. I am that new farmer boy. How are you? Your name is Haley, apparently, and you're going to ignore me. Well, what about if I give you a gift? Will you ignore that? And when I give you a gift, I am going to give you also the gift of a terrible pickup line. So this week's first terrible pickup line for Haley is the following. Haley, if you were a vegetable, you'd be a cucumber. Nice, huh? So if you'd like to contribute possible future pickup lines for Haley, please comment below with your options. Try to keep them PG and as acceptable as possible. Don't get super crude with them. And if I like them, I'll add them to the list. But we'll be doing 2 pickup lines per week for each of the gifts that I give Haley. Now we're also going to pick up all of these spring onions. They are a nice forageable during spring because they are good for giving you back energy. They don't give you a lot of energy back, but they're certainly one of the most useful items in the early game for making sure that you can keep going, especially if you're mining or trying to get in some extra supplies in terms of seeds planted. So we're going to head back to our farm and we're going to drop off some of the stuff we picked up. Now I'll be showing off this first full day in this episode. In the future, we are not going to be doing full days shown in each episode. So I will be cutting redundant experiences from what I'm doing because essentially I don't find that entertaining personally when I'm watching these farming sim games myself, because I do watch a lot of other people playing these games too, because I do like them. So anything redundant like watering, harvesting crops, again, initially I will show that off for completion's sake, but over time I'm going to start cutting out some of that just to make the experience go a little bit quicker. Things will be a little snappier as we progress towards our goal. So my goal is to show off maybe 3 or 4 days worth of content in each episode, around a half hour per episode. So this is the bulletin board. Shows off a calendar, and an important date to remember is Haley's birthday, because if you give her a gift on her birthday, she will get a lot more affinity towards you on that particular day, if it's a good gift. We're going to start talking to some of the people in town. We do want to meet that general requirement. We're not going to be shopping at Pierre's. The one exception is I will be buying pack upgrades from Pierre's. But other than that, all of my purchases will be made through Joja. I will still occasionally talk to Pierre. No, I'm not going to be buying stuff from you, but thank you. You should join the Joja Mart, because they are awesome, especially if you become a member. So you do sell basically everything. He does have a couple extra things that he'll start selling in year 2 and beyond. But for now, he kind of has the basic inventory, including fruit plants, the trees, which are important if you're going the route of doing the bundles. And then up here we have his wife's kind of special area in the back there. Her name is Caroline. And we also have an altar of Yoba. And they also have a daughter named Abigail. Now I like Abigail a lot simply because she jives kind of more with my natural personality. But again, for the purposes of this particular playthrough, we will not be going for Abigail. The other person I like to typically woo in this game is Leia. Or Leah, however you want to pronounce it. That's Abigail. She has purple hair. She's a Chrono Trigger fan, which is near and dear to my heart. But we're going to head over to the Joja Mart because we need to buy a few more seeds to get into the ground today. So let's talk to a few more people in here. We'll talk to Pam. She is actually the unemployed bus driver because the bus doesn't work anymore. Once we become a member of Joja, canned scrambled eggs. Sounds delicious. We will be able to pay to have the bus recommissioned, and then Pam will get her job back. I mean, I don't care if you get in trouble or not, but okay. Join us. And then we have another person over here named Shane. And he's working here as well. Well, keep at it, Shane. Thrive. But the important person to talk to is Morris. We were instructed to talk to him from our boss at Joja. Yes, we were told to come and see you. We're going to have to become a member of this place, and then we will start working on the community development projects. I'm sure it will be a joyous experience, as joyous as it possibly can be. I'm doing okay. So we can't actually become a member until a little bit later, once the community center becomes a thing in this game. And also we need 5,000 gold, which we do not have, obviously. It's going to take a little while to do that. I'm going to buy some Jojo wallpaper, because basically I want to make my house look better. And that means more Joja. And then we're going to buy as many parsnip seeds as we can. This is going to be our early game spring crop, at least until we get a little bit more money. Then we'll switch off to some more lucrative crops. Hey, another daffodil. Sweet. We're getting stocked up on those. That'll make things a little bit easier for wooing Haley. Also get a few more wild seeds here. We scared a frog. That's nice. Maybe we should grab the frog and cook it. Although we don't have a kitchen, do we? We have to actually upgrade our house to get a kitchen. I've never had frog legs. Have you? I've heard they're good. Up here is another daffodil, sweet. And the old building that is the community center. So there are two main routes in this game. You can go the route of the Joja Mart, where you essentially turn the community center into a warehouse and then fill in the community improvement projects by paying money to Joja, or you can actually rebuild the community center by filling in bundles of particular items. So I guess you could say the good route, or the moral noble route, is to fill in the bundles through the community center. But that can take a very long time to do. So, as I said, we are going to be doing the Joja route as an operative. We have a few more people here to talk to. Robin, we already know you. Yeah, it is kind of exhausting to meet everybody. Join us. And then Demetrius. He is a scientist. Nice. Have you thought about working for Joja? They could use some scientists. Now, unfortunately, we're maxed out on our inventory. So we do want this forage. So I think I'm going to drop either my wood or my fiber. Since I only have 2 pieces of wood, let's get rid of that. Mainly because forage is early money in this game. Can also be used as gifts for certain characters. We cannot progress past this point to already start in the mines. They actually lock us out of it for a little while. But that will open up eventually. And that is one of the kids of Robin and Demetrius, and this is Sebastian. I did just move in. You have some pretty awesome hair. I've heard it's quite the tourist destination. A lot going on here for sure. I hear you have festivals and the like. And then we have a weird man living out in a tent named Linus. Wearing leaves? I don't know. I see it as a pineapple suit, but maybe it's leaves. There's some interesting theories about what Linus is. I think he's just a vagrant. So here we have a ton of forage. Do I want to get these leeks? I'm going to have to get rid of something. Now I could go back to my farm and stow some stuff, but we are getting pretty late. So maybe I'll just get rid of the fiber. Fiber's pretty easy to come by. And not a lot of things use fiber in this game for crafting. So it should be pretty easy to get more. But we have quite a bit still to do tonight before we go to bed. So the game does save after you go to bed. Until that point, you can basically replay the entire day if you want to. So we're going to go back over and we're going to make our field a little bit bigger. So we have 19 more parsnip seeds to plant, and then we also have 9 wild seeds, which can be essentially anything, any of the spring crops. So we're going to start with the parsnips. Those are the most important. Now, until we can craft a scarecrow, there is a chance that your seeds might actually get eaten by crows in between days. And we're going to use a spring onion here. We do not want to get exhausted. That is not a good time. So we're going to refill our energy for now using our spring onions. My friend Avok in his series on Stardew used a really good metaphor for the spring onions. They are essentially like a battery. Now they're tiny batteries, but they are still batteries for you to take with you and keep you going. Like the Energizer Bunny, we will keep going and going. But we want to get all of this planted, and then once that is the case, we will head inside, and then in my next episode, we will start exploring in earnest the rest of the town. We'll see if we can talk to the rest of the citizens of Pelican Town. We should also get close to having our first harvest, depending on how many days I can get through in episode 2. And we will continue to talk to Haley and see if we can get her up to 1 or maybe even 2 hearts. So a few more things to water, and then we will call it a night. Oh man, come on. You're going to make me refill my watering can and probably eat another spring onion. Okay, we made it. Can we fill the watering can again? We did it. Okay. Let's drop off a few things, we'll head inside, and we'll call it a day. So as always, viewers, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you will join me on this journey of the challenge run of completing the Joja Mart community projects, as well as getting married, maxing out heart levels. That's better. And also getting to the bottom of the mine. And I'll see y'all in my next episode. So long. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press like and leave a comment below. Please also subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell. See you next time.